Have you ever been just sitting on your couch, totally fine, and you notice this tiny, like, almost imperceptible tightness in your
Oh,
chest?
yeah. That is such a relatable scenario.
Right. And then the very moment you start worrying about that tightness, you suddenly feel like you cannot breathe.
It is terrifying.
It really is. So today we are unpacking this invisible trigger that creates a very real physical crisis. We've prepared this custom deep dive just for you to really explore this powerful intersection between the mind and the lungs.
And it is a profound connection. We usually tend to view the respiratory system and our emotional state as totally separate things.
Right, like you treat the lungs with an inhaler and you treat the mind with therapy.
Exactly. But biologically, they are entirely entangled.
So true. And for this deep dive, we are pulling our insights from a really great article called The Anxiety Asthma Loop, When Fear Makes Breathing Worse.
Yeah, that was written by Sidon for the Asthma Friend community.
Yes, it was. Okay, let's unpack this. Because the core premise really asks us to rethink how we view asthma triggers.
It completely shifts the paradigm, honestly.
Because, I mean, we all know the standard environmental stuff. You step outside in the freezing cold and your airways react.
Or, you're exposed to dust or pet dander or pollution.
Right. Those are tangible. You can point to a cat and say, that right there caused my flare-up.
Yeah, but what this article points out is that there's this invisible internal trigger, which is, your own emotions.
Stress and fear.
Exactly. Fear itself acts as a trigger.
Well, I want to stop right there because I know exactly how defensive someone listening might feel when they hear that.
Oh, for sure.
When someone says an asthma symptom is anxiety-induced, the immediate reaction is often, oh, so you're saying it's all in my head.
Like they're making it up.
Yeah. It feels incredibly dismissive, like medical gaslighting.
It absolutely does, and we need to just debunk that myth right now. The symptoms are 100% real.
They are actual physical symptoms.
Yes. They are measurable and highly distressing. The trigger might be emotional, like stress or fear, but the body's reaction is entirely physical.
Because your body doesn't really know the difference between a physical threat and an emotional one right now.
Exactly. So the core loop goes like this. You notice a small change in your breathing.
Like a little chest tightness.
Right. And then fear kicks in. You think, uh-oh, what if this is an attack?
And that panic literally changes how you breathe.
Yes. Anxiety causes you to take faster, shallower breaths, which makes your chest muscles physically tighten up.
Which obviously makes your breathing feel even worse.
And that just causes the fear to escalate. It is a literal loop.
Man, it's like a bad audio feedback loop on a microphone, but happening entirely between your lungs and your brain.
That is the perfect analogy. The microphone picks up a tiny noise, the speaker amplifies it, and suddenly it's a deafening screech.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though, because we need to look under the hood.
Yeah, at the actual physiology of panic.
Right. The source material breaks down 4 distinct physical changes that happen during this loop.
The first one is the shift in your breathing pattern.
Right. We abandon that nice, deep diaphragmatic breathing.
Exactly. Under stress, we shift to rapid, shallow chest breaths.
Which really reduces the effective airflow into your lungs.
Yes, and it leads straight into the second physical change, which is muscle tightness.
The classic fight or flight response.
Right. That adrenaline surge physically tightens your chest and your throat muscles.
And that is terrifyingly easy to mistake for your airway closing.
It feels almost identical. And then the third factor kicks in, which is hyper-awareness.
Oh, yeah. Because having asthma already makes you so hyper-aware of your breath.
You're always kind of monitoring it in the background.
But when you add anxiety to that, it just goes into overdrive.
You start monitoring every single inhale.
Which turns completely normal bodily sensations into perceived threats.
Exactly. A tiny tickle in your throat suddenly feels like a 5-alarm fire.
Wow. And there's a fourth factor, right? The fear memory.
Yes. What's fascinating here is how your nervous system actually reacts to mild sensations before your rational mind even has a chance to process it.
Because it remembers past severe attacks.
Right. It remembers that trauma on a cellular level.
So it's basically hitting the panic button on autopilot to try and protect you.
Exactly. The alarm goes off before you even smell smoke.
But that makes it so hard. If anxiety-induced asthma feels so real, how can a person actually tell the difference?
Between a standard environmental attack and an anxiety loop.
Yeah. How do you spot the difference?
Well, there are specific markers. For one, you might experience sudden breathlessness without wheezing.
Okay, so no whistling sound.
Right. Another marker is feeling chest tightness, but your oxygen levels are actually totally normal.
which you could check with a little pulse oximeter at home.
Exactly. You also might feel like you just can't take a deep breath.
Like a mechanical resistance in your chest.
Yes, but crucially, the biggest tell is if you notice your symptoms improve when you are distracted.
Oh, wow. Because if it was, like a cat allergy, distracting yourself wouldn't stop the allergic reaction.
Precisely. If getting engaged in a conversation or a task makes the tightness fade, it's likely the loop.
That is so helpful. But we also have to talk about the psychological weight of this.
It is a huge burden.
Because we are dealing with one of the absolute most primal human survival instincts here.
The fear of not being able to breathe.
Yeah. You can go days without water, but only minutes without air. When that feels threatened, panic is just human nature.
It really is. And the
Yeah.
stigma makes this loop so insidious.
People are afraid to talk about the emotional toll, aren't they?
Yes, they delay bringing it up because they fear being dismissed.
They don't want a doctor or a partner to just say, oh, it's just anxiety.
Exactly. But recognizing the loop isn't a dismissal at all.
It's actually a tool for empowerment.
Yes, because once you understand the mechanics, you can start to break the cycle.
Well, let's get into that. How do we hack this loop and regain control?
It's all about practical tools.
I noticed a really counterintuitive piece of advice in the text.
Oh, about taking a deep breath.
Yeah. Usually when someone is panicking, the very first thing we tell them is, hey, take a deep breath.
Right.
But the source says that's actually a bad idea here.
It is. Trying to force a massive deep breath can actually make the anxiety so much worse
Wait, really? Why is that?
because your chest muscles are already tight from the panic.
Oh, so you hit physical resistance.
Yes. You try to heave your chest up, it doesn't work, and your brain goes, see, we really are suffocating.
Oh my gosh, that makes perfect sense. It confirms the fear.
Exactly. So instead of forcing an inhale, the focus should be on slow, gentle breathing.
With longer exhales, right?
Yes. Letting the breath settle naturally. Making the exhale longer than the inhale sends a biological signal of safety to the nervous system.
It tells the brain to turn off the alarm.
Precisely. Another actionable takeaway is learning to separate danger from discomfort.
I really like that concept.
Yeah, separating early asthma symptoms from anxiety-driven sensations.
Because not every discomfort is an actual emergency.
Exactly. And that is where having an asthma action plan becomes absolutely vital.
Because when you're panicked, you can't make good decisions.
Right. You need to know exactly when to use medication, when to just wait and breathe, and when to seek real help.
It replaces uncertainty with structure.
It does. And Asthma Friend actually offers a free asthma action plan creator.
Which is such a great resource.
It really is. And beyond the plan, you have to have emotional acknowledgement.
Yeah, talking about it openly.
There is a crucial quote from the text that I love. It says, "You are not weak for feeling anxious. You are human."
That is so validating. It strips the fear of its power when you just acknowledge it.
It really does. If we connect this to the bigger picture, clarity calms the mind, and a plan supports the lungs.
That is beautifully put. So what does this all mean?
It means you're not failing.
Exactly. If anxiety worsens your asthma symptoms, it doesn't mean you are failing at managing your asthma.
Not at all.
The symptoms are completely real, and both the physical and the emotional sides deserve care.
They deserve equal attention.
And you don't have to face this alone. You can join the Asthma Friend community to connect with other people who truly understand what it's like.
That shared lived experience is so important.
It is. You can visit asthmafriend.com to read Sinhan's full blog and find more resources.
And don't forget the games.
Oh, yeah. You can check out games.asthmafriend.com for some free asthma-themed games that make learning about all this stuff way less intimidating.
It's a really fun way to learn about triggers and management.
Absolutely. Well, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final idea to ponder.
Okay, let's hear it.
We learned today that our nervous system can build a fear memory from past asthma attacks, right?
Yes, the body learns to panic.
Right. But it raises a really fascinating question. If our bodies can learn to panic on autopilot, could we consciously train our nervous systems to build safety memories?
Oh, I love that concept.
Like during moments of easy, effortless breathing. Could we actively focus on how safe it feels so we have a physical anchor to draw upon when the panic sets in?
Like a biological counterweight to the fear.
Exactly. Something to think about next time you take a nice, clear breath. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes, thank you for listening.
Take care, and remember, you do not have to navigate this alone.